everyone. So, now that we've finished the first chapter of Volume 7, I think it's about time I talk about this book and why it was such a difficult book to start writing and working with. I spent around a month trying to come up with the outline and the plan for this book. I finished Volume 6, printing and all that, shipping and everything around mid-April, I think. And then I went on a 3-day trip to Istanbul, Turkey, to just like as a milestone, so I wouldn't feel like I worked on 2 books without any vacation or time off or a break of a sort. And even then, throughout the trip, whenever I had time alone, I used to spend it writing notes for this new upcoming book, because I was first really excited to start writing it, and at the same time I was afraid of all the things that's happening, because yes, there's this big event that happened at the end of Volume 6, which is Black attacking Toy, but it's like the main event, and how to resolve that in Volume 7 and 8, and no matter how much it takes to resolve this issue. But there are other things on the side that were happening. I mean, in my head, I knew from 2011 that this will come, this event, this plot twist will happen. But I didn't have the details. I just have this like end goal that I was writing towards. And some trivial things happened on the side, like for example, Larissa's pregnancy, White's job, Black's career, and the rumors. Like, these are not even trivial, they're important, but they weren't written when I wrote the story in 2011. They were just things, plot twists and lines that happened while I wrote each chapter. So when I sat down to start writing Volume 7, I was shocked by the amount of topics and information and events that I have to address in this book. It wasn't easy. For every chapter, even when I had the whole main plot line written, and I started finishing these chapters, every chapter I used to take my sweet time to write. There are so many layers in every chapter. There are so many monologues on top of scenes, on top of flashbacks, and it was challenging but really fun. And it makes me think of the following book, because now you're 1 chapter in this book, and I am 1 chapter away from finishing this book. And that makes me think, whenever I start writing the last 2 chapters of a book, I start thinking of the following book, because I kind of like to, I don't know, like prepare the grounds for what's to come. Mostly in my mind, not even in a story format. Sometimes I just like to think where I'm headed. And it's funny, when I started writing chapter 54, which is the second to last chapter, I started thinking of Volume 8, and I realized that it's another difficult book, not because of the sheer amount of things that are to happen, but more because it's like an empty land. I don't think I have any idea for Volume 8 or what I want to address or where I want to move. Like, I know I have this big idea that I need to reach in Volume 8, but all the other details and plot lines, I don't have any idea. So every book is a fun challenge on its own. It really helped me to sit down and write all the ideas that I have in mind for this book. I wrote them as a list, and I started going through them one by one. Like, this is very important. There are a few lines that I simply wrote, it can wait till next book, because either it's not that important, or maybe it's just self-indulgent, or just a scene that I thought is cute to be added. But when I have all these events that I want to talk about, it was smarter to filter what's not really important. I didn't remove it all, because sometimes the self-indulgent bits are the comic relief, usually. So I try to keep those. Another problem was, like, aside from Black and White's lives, were Yildar. So we have in volume 4, I revealed Yildar, where is he, and that he's alive, and that he's the abuser by the end of volume 4. And then volume 6 started, and I had my way of presenting more about Yildar through his journals by the end of each chapter. So it was like I needed something like that. I didn't want the journals, but I need Yildar's story to progress. But it's not the time to add him as like a main cast or a character that appears within the main chapters. So I knew that it has to be another thing that's by the end of each chapter. So that was another thing that I had to think about, and another reason that made writing volume 7 a difficult job. So I just really wanted to put some thoughts about the writing process for this book, and I'm gonna share more about the behind the scenes from here on, now that we're updating the chapters, which I really hope you enjoy. I also really hope that you are content with the first chapter of the book. My goal for this book, my ambition, is for it to deliver. Whether it's the way I deal with what Black did, or how White reacts, or all the other things that are going to happen. I really just wish I'll have the ability to write something that delivers by the end of this book. If you have any comments, questions, wonderings, or whatever, leave them below, and I'll try to address them in future recordings. Thank you so much for listening, and keep a smile on.